Hey, what's up guys? I'm Cole and this is Practical Faith. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my top 7 YouTube street preachers. I'm really excited about this because some of these guys you've probably never heard of, so stay tuned. So I'm going to name my top 7 street preachers on YouTube, but of course this is just my subjective opinion. I believe all of these guys have a heart for people. They love God, they're out there for the right reasons, and they're actually making a difference. I feel the need to throw out a few disclaimers. So I am sure that I don't agree with any of these guys on every point of their theology. And I've actually heard a few say a few things that I'm like,
why'd you say that?
But I believe that we can come together on the main points of Christianity and work together to reach people. Some of these guys just film or do live streams and there's not really any editing. And so when you're out there on the streets, some people are gonna say some pretty crazy stuff. So if you watch many of their videos, you might hear some profanity or some lewd comments. So just kind of be on the lookout for that. You're not going to hear any of that in the clips that I selected for this video. Also, I don't own any kind of rights to any of these videos. This is just what is publicly available on YouTube, and I will link the full videos in the description below. My hope and purpose in this video is that you will feel stirred to do something for God. Not everybody is called to the kind of ministry that you're going to see here, but everybody is called of God to do something. So what are you called to do? So I'm going to be counting down from 7 to 1. Number 1 is going to be my favorite. Number 7 is going to be my 7th favorite. Number 7 on this list is former U.S. Navy SEAL Chad Williams. He runs a YouTube site called Divine Sabotage. He's also written an excellent book about his life called The Seal of God, which I would definitely recommend you check out. Honestly, if Chad was still making videos, he might be the number 1 on my list. So check him out and let me know what you think.
So nobody can shake their fist up at God and say, God, oh, you didn't offer a way out. His son died on the cross for us. That's the way out. If everybody's loving what I'm saying right now, I should be a little concerned. I'm not trying to be hard for the sake of being hard, but the gospel message divides. You have the law of God, the 10 commandments, and they shine down on you. And for some people, if they're living in darkness, that light does not feel good at all. For other people, they're broken by it. And that's what God says He desires, a broken and contrite heart. It's offensive, you know why? Because nobody's going to get into heaven on their own druthers. There's no spiritual staircase to heaven that anyone can climb. You have to be broken before God. Say, I put Him up there on the cross with my foolishness. That's not easy to do.
Number 6 is David Lynn from Christ Forgiveness Ministries. And I came across this guy a couple years ago when he was dialoguing with some Muslims, and there's some great content there. He often does live streams. He was actually arrested recently in Toronto when he was confronted by a crowd of gay and lesbian protesters. But in his video, he was actually telling them that he loves them and he accepts them. Now, he doesn't accept their sin and they still have to repent, but he wasn't spewing any kind of hatred, and he was still arrested. So that's kind of a foreshadowing, I think, of what's coming, and we need to be ready for it. And I appreciate this guy. He's on the front lines doing the work of the ministry, so check him out.
But my time wasn't up. You know how many times I almost died? There was one time I went into this turf in this other area, in the Toronto area, and there was this gang there, and this guy pulled a knife on me, smashed a beer bottle over my head, and they surrounded me, about 10 guys, and they were about to stab me. I almost died. Let me tell you something, but God spared my life. So many times the devil wanted to take my life, and I'm here to tell you, if you're living here today, God has spared your life. God is sparing you because you have a purpose. You have a purpose in your life. If you are here today, that means God has a purpose and a reason for you being here. And all God is saying to you is, will you fulfill your destiny? Or will you live in sin and run away from the very God who loves you? I'm here to tell you today, you have a destiny. If you're smoking weed, put down the weed, you have a destiny. If all you're doing is drinking and getting drunk every day, listen, put it down for a moment, you have a destiny.
Number 5 on my list is campus minister Cliffe Knechtle. He runs a YouTube channel called Ask Cliffe. He engages in civil dialogues with students on college campuses. So they come and ask a question, he answers it, they go back and forth, and he uses their questions as a springboard to bring out the gospel message. Cliffe has a ton of videos on his channel and they're all PG. So he edits profanity and stuff out of them. And it's a great tool because you can see what questions college students are actually asking today.
No, therefore the question is, what kind of purpose will I instill in my own life?
Good.
What kind of purpose can I find in this world on my own?
Okay.
Without God.
Good.
Good without God.
Good. So what's your purpose?
I'm slowly discovering that.
Okay, but please realize that whatever you conclude, the opposite is equally valid. Yeah, that's right, because it's all meaningless, and you go ahead and you create your own meaning. But because you got your brain intact and you realize it's all ultimately an accident, whatever you decide, and I'm sure you'll have a great definition of your life, maybe to help elephants or help the whale or help yourself or help other people, I don't know. But whatever you decide, I'm sure it's going to be fine. But you see, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to admit as a consistent atheist that the opposite of whatever it is you conclude is equally valid, because it's all ultimately meaningless. That's why Camus said, the only question we atheists have to answer is, why not commit suicide? It's all a joke.
So, what's your reason for not committing suicide?
Because I am convinced to the core of my being that you're not an accident.
No, you personally.
And I'm not an accident. We are human beings created by God for a purpose. And that purpose is to love and worship God and to love and serve each other.
Number 4 on my list is Phillip Blair with Torch of Christ Ministries. I'm probably honestly the least familiar with his ministry, but I've watched enough videos to know that this guy is passionate, that he loves God, and that he loves people. I also really enjoy the cinematic feel to some of his videos. It's high quality stuff that's easy to watch, so check him out.
God bless you, New York City, and people from all over the world. I'm going to spend 5-10 minutes of your time. If you're here, I want you to hear the gospel. I believe that God gives us divine appointments. He'll bring us from all over the world to hear one message. All right, we're all stumbling through life. The blind leading the blind. We're stuck in pits of sin and addictions and bad habits. We cuss at our wife. We throw her around. We abuse her, neglect her. Our children are being overlooked and neglected, put in front of iPads and video games while we're doing our thing, working long hours. We give them to babysitters or ship them off to a boarding school or whatever it is so that we can chase the next dollar. But my friend, there's more to life than living to work and working to live.
Number 3 on my list is Pastor Jeff Durbin. He's the founder of Apologia Church and runs a YouTube channel called Apologia Studios. Jeff has a lot of good videos talking to atheists and reaching Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, and he always just has a great spirit. But I think the aspect of Jeff's ministry that impresses me the most is his heart for unborn children. He has an amazing anti-abortion ministry. So he will go out and preach with his team at these abortion clinics and actually have people there with him that are willing to adopt any babies that these moms choose not to murder. A mom actually turns away from the clinic and chooses to keep her child as a result of the video that I'm about to show you.
Every time they went into a store and they saw a mother pushing a baby in a cart, or every time they passed by a daycare center, every time they saw children playing on a playground, they couldn't stop thinking about what they had done to their own child. How old would they be now? What would they look like? What color would their eyes be? Would they be like me? Would they be silly? Would they be serious? Would they be good at math? Would she be a dancer? Would he like karate? They would think these things, and I remember sitting in front of these women with tears in my eyes, my heart broken and hurting for them, listening to their stories about how they walked into an abortion clinic one day and they thought they could kill their child and get away with it.
Number 2 on my list, maybe the least known of all 7, and his name is Tom Short. He's a campus minister. He runs a YouTube channel called Tom the Preacher, but he actually doesn't really post a whole lot on his YouTube channel. He posts a lot on his Facebook. So I'll leave a link to his Facebook in the description below. But Tom's been preaching for a number of years on college campuses across America, and now he's training other people to do the same thing. And he's not what you picture when you picture a typical campus preacher, but he's actually engaging with students, hearing what they have to say, reasoning with them, and leading quite a few to Christ.
You know, it's kind of like I used to play basketball. And if I were around like a bunch of Like when I was in high school, if I was around a bunch of 8th graders, I felt like I was pretty hot on the court. I could whip anybody. If you put me on the court with LeBron, Jordan, and Kobe, how could I be proud? Hey, give me the ball. Let me shoot, man. I'm right up at you dudes. I mean, that just wouldn't make sense. You might be proud when you compare yourself to someone you graduated high school with, or maybe some classmates here. How can you be proud in the sight of God? You might think you know a lot. Are you omniscient? You might think you're good. Are you holy? You might think you're strong. Are you omnipotent? You might have think you were kind of creative. Did you make the universe?
Number 1 on my list probably really doesn't need an introduction. If you're an atheist, you probably know this guy. If you are a Christian who's concerned at all with evangelism, you've probably heard of him. His name is Ray Comfort, and he's the founder of Living Waters Ministries. Now, Ray has been around for a long time, and he's what I would say is the definition of an evangelist. He's got lots of resources to help Christians be able to better share their faith. He's written tracts, he's written books, and if you've somehow never heard of him, be sure to check him out.
Well, the good news of the gospel is God can let you go, He can dismiss your case, forgive your sins, commute your death sentence, because that's what you're under at the moment. The Bible says the soul that sins, it shall die, okay? I know you think this is funny, I don't, this is deadly serious, because you could die tonight. That's why I'm so earnest about this. Christ died for your sins, rose again on the 3rd day, and if you repent and trust in Him, God will forgive your sins. At the moment, you're like a man on the edge of a plane, 10,000 feet up, and he's going to flap his arms to save himself. It's not going to work. He needs to trust the parachute. And at the moment, you say, I'm a good person, I'll be fine on Judgment Day. No, you won't. You're not good. You're like the rest of us. Trust in Jesus Christ alone. Transfer your trust from yourself to the Savior.
I will.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Do you have a Bible at home?
Yes.
Now, you're not laughing at me anymore. Is that because you're thinking seriously about this?
Yes.
I appreciate that. I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to give you a book. Jessica, thanks for listening to me. Can I give you a book?
So those are my personal top 7 street preachers. I'm sure that I'm missing some. There's some that you know of that I probably don't. So let me know who they are in the comments section below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell notifications. I'm trying to help people grow in their faith so that they can go in their faith. And if that's something that you want to do, I want to be a part of it. Please also hit the thumbs up button because it lets me know that you're enjoying the content. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.